Well, we are so grateful. We are legitimately launching. Welcome to Unpack. I am so excited to be where you are. I'm so grateful for everyone who is chiming in and coming in. I'm grateful for all of our friends and partners. I'm excited for this new opportunity, and we're certainly grateful for Church Talk Media. I am a part of the family, and I'm so grateful to be in this particular group and sharing the thoughts that I have and life's experiences and all those other wonderful things. And I'm just excited. I hope you're excited. I hope you're having a great day. Let's get into it. I want to explain to you what we are about, what Unpack podcast will be speaking to. We are speaking to every single topic under the sun. There's nothing that we're not going to cover. There's nothing that we're not going to unpack, from family and all the components that go into family, from marriage to parenting to single parenting to the man, the whole man, the husband, the father, the whole woman, the wife, the mother, every issue, every family dynamic you can imagine under the sun. We are not afraid to talk about it, not afraid to add voice to it. We are very empathic to our approach. I tell you, we can't come a long way. And my foundation is Christianity. I am a believer and follower of Christ, but I do honor and respect all faiths, all belief systems. I am a big proponent on what you believe is what you believe. And so I believe it should work for you. So we do not come trying to proselyte anyone to our faith. So we're going to talk about things that matter, things that does not discriminate, like trauma. It's one of my hot topics. We've been dealing with it for the last 2 years. We've developed a platform called Mental Healthness to Wellness. I'm going to say that again, Mental Healthness to Wellness. And it talks about everything that deals with our family cycle, our family struggles, no matter what it is. So as you come on, I would that you would hit that share button, invite somebody on as we deal with the Unpack podcast. I'm so excited to be where you are. I'm so excited that you're on. If you're on any of the other streams from Facebook to YouTube, I'm excited. We are a part of a great family of networking, and we are going into the homes of so many people across the country and even overseas, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get into it. What does the word unpack details? It details every single thing from a panoramic perspective. I talked about family. We're going to be talking about politics, government, that they intertwine. Going to be talking about the media. Going to be talking about arts and entertainment. Every single topic that you can imagine, from education on down to finances. And so it's paralleling that of the 7 mind molders or the 7 mountains. But I believe that whatever we don't understand, we have the tendency to be against. Whatever we do not understand, abuse is inevitable. And I believe that there are so many things that need to be unpacked, need to be further talked about and discussed, need to be shared. And we welcome feedback. We are welcoming your commentary, your thought processes on things. We don't claim to have all the answers, but we have some of the answers. And we have our own school of thought or a thought on particular topics, particular subjects, and we're so welcome to learn. We're going to be having guests, other voices come on, other people in their professions who are specializing in certain topics. And I believe that that's important for us to unpack from minds that are already in it. I'm somewhat challenged because it's hard for me to hear firsthand from someone who haven't gone through that particular topic or subject that's being talked about or unpacked. It's hard. Like, for instance, I I love a Stephen A. Smith. I respect him as a journalist, as a sports journalist, and some may know who he is, some may not. But when it comes to NBA, when it comes to NFL, I don't care who it is. I rather hear the man or the woman who had legitimately played the sport, dealt with the hits, dealt with the preparation, dealt with all that it took to get there and to maintain. His voice matter, but it's nothing like the person who had actually experienced it. So in NBA, his voice is secondary to me. No matter how loud he is, how smart he is, how brilliant he is, because he's brilliant and he's smart. However, there's nothing like talking to the person who actually experienced it. So that means a lot to me. And so many times we have so many boys giving their opinion on things that they've never gone through themselves. That's challenging for me. That really, really is. Not to say that their voice doesn't matter, not to say that their opinion doesn't matter, but it's nothing like talking to someone about a particular person, place, or thing that have lived through it, that have survived it. So let's talk about the first rule of the day is that we're going to talk, or first topic rather, we're going to talk about mental wellness. We're going to talk about mental illness. We're going to talk about how it affects us as individuals and we as a people. When we talk about people, we're talking about Black and brown people today. In this moment, we know that traumas does not discriminate. It just don't. And because we as Black and brown people, we are quite spiritual. We are really, really, really spiritual in our community. We're spiritual in our tribes, spiritual in our clan, our groups. We are a people that is spirited. And so many times we would use our faith to smother out the trauma. We'll use that Sunday or even that Saturday, whatever day you deem as the Sabbath on with your faith or reformation. But it becomes a numbing or a brief moment of peace where we dance, where we praise, where we worship, where we cry, where we sing, where we're prophesied to, where we're preached to, all those great taught to. Those are great. It's a great, great, great moment, great moments. And I do believe in what's called deliverance. I do believe in all that. However, I do also believe that there are certain things in our minds and our hearts that must be addressed and unpacked, right? Dealt with. And so that's why we're here. That's why we're here. You're going to hear me talk about how whatever we don't understand, we have the tendency to be against. And if we don't understand the purpose of something or someone, abuse is inevitable. We'll abuse that we don't understand. So I am spiritual, but many of the topics we deal with won't readily directly deal with from a churchy or a spiritual perspective, if I may. All right. So I want you to understand that. I want to make that clear to you. All right. I think it's so important for you to understand why we are here, what we're doing, and what this is about. So thank you again for joining us. So I'm going to get into the topic right away of this whole mental illness. And the unfortunate part about this is that we don't fully understand it. We've run from it. We've ran from it. We are not accustomed to dealing with it and handling it. So it's to this wise that we're going to unpack what it means to us, what it means to our community, what it means to our people, what it means to our family dynamic. So let's deal with those two words, right? Those two words, let's separate those two words. Those two words, mental and illness. Let's deal with those two words. Mental, let's separate them. Mental and illness. When we talk about mental illness, it is demonized and somewhat scrutinized in our communities. It is a part of us that we don't like talking to or talking about or breaking down because it has the connotation that speaks to or suggests that something's wrong, or it speaks to or suggests that someone is crazy or off. And when the reality is that every one of us, I don't care who you are, I don't care what race, creed, or color you are, everyone have some sort of mental illness in them. Now, I'm going to further explain it. Let me unpack that. Let me unpack what I just said. I said it. I don't care if you're an apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, teacher. Those are titles. And many times those titles cover up trauma. Not many times, nearly all the time. Those titles are licenses to still move on without unpacking that trauma, that pain that's real. But and many people don't know that it's lying dormant, or it's in stealth mode, or it's in covert mode, and many of us don't know it. So I firmly believe that you can grow up in a church or a church environment or a spiritual environment and not grow up in Christ. So this is the hour where transparency must be given to you, the individual man, the individual woman. I didn't say husband or wife, father or mother. Those are roles. Those are other hats, and those are other responsibilities. But I firmly believe that if you're not strong, if you don't get the man or the woman that you are healed, if you do not deal with you, you are going to be not as effective in those other roles. One scripture teaches us that charity, love, begins here at this house. This house. Somebody say, me, yeah. So what happens now when we talk about the word mental? Let's deal with the definition of it. Mental. It deals with your ability to grasp, to understand, to rationalize, to comprehend. It deals with your ability to discern, to judge, right? All that, to process in your mind. That's what the mental deals with. It deals with that. Again, to comprehend, to understand, to rationalize, right? To ability to grasp, right? To get clarity on. It deals with the ability to. That's what people deal with. Now, the word illness is a separate word, has separate definitions to it. It means to be sick, to be injured, not well, crippled, handicapped, um, um, ill-equipped. It means to be broken, dis-ease. That's when we talk to illness. Mental ability to comprehend and to understand, to grasp, to reason, to think through, to process, to discern. That's when we talk about mental. That's when we two totally different words. Now, guess what? There's someone who's that injury to a particular thing, have injured or an isolated moment in your life has caused significant damage, has caused significant pain. Your process toward that is damaged, has been damaged. Your heart, your mind has been misunderstood, mishandled, right? Every one of us have gone through some sort of trauma that has caused those particular outcomes, those particular traumas in our brain, in our mind, in our thoughts. So, yeah, you may have a healthy career, a healthy family, a healthy relationship, healthy marriage. However, I'm not putting anything on you or suggesting that something's wrong with you. What I am suggesting is that everybody on the planet have suffered through and still is living through some legitimate traumas. That's called mental injury. Maybe that's a better word. Your mind has been injured. Your thought has been injured about, what happened. being cheated on, being lied to, being abused, being mishandled, being misunderstood. So all of these factors has caused some sort of trauma in your family dynamic. When you were a child, when you were a little boy, little girl, teenagers, when you were a young adult to now. Question that I ask quite often is, what do you do when your dysfunctions are just as old as you? What do you do? How do you manage that? Could it be that we've learned to function in our dysfunction? I'm afraid so. Could it be that we are handicapped and we never got, or never been around any man or any woman or anyone that would take the time to even highlight that in us? Could it be that we are in a generational mental health pandemic that did not just start in this century? It predates all of us. I believe mental illness started with the fall of man, started with the disobedience that's found in Genesis, the 3rd chapter. I believe that error increased with time and it gets worse with distance. So I'm speaking to that now because every one of us have a level of error that was not dealt with, was not corrected, did not know to be corrected, did not know to be dealt with, was not taught to, was not taught to, was not reared or raised in an environment that showed us that. So there's a level of empathy that I have for everyone. There's a level of passion and compassion that I have for everyone. There's a lot of grace, right? Because we are living amongst people in our family, in our tribes, in our family tribe, our community, our clan, immediate or first, second, third, fourth, fifth cousins on both sides, who, regardless, people you grew up with, that's a part of your clan, your tribe, undiagnosed. And to add insult to injury, misdiagnosed. Yeah, it's real. The undiagnosed part and the misdiagnosed part, that's in our family setting. And then in our work setting, that's a family setting. Our work community, it's a real family setting. You may not be blood related to them, but you see them, you know them. There's a bond there. You like them, you don't like them. You fall out with them one day, you're back in bed with them the next day. And I'm not talking literal bed. I'm talking about in cahoots. Then you have your spiritual family, your church family. That's a community. All three of those tribes, all three of those communities have mental illnesses. And none of them, in many cases, two out of the three predates you. The person on your job, the person in your spirit community did not cause the trauma. I left the family dynamic out because that's where many of our traumas and our dysfunctions and our issues, many of them have grown from that platform, that community, your tribe. And what took place at childhood or in that environment affects or influences your thoughts and your behaviors, my thoughts and my behavior. So I'm so grateful for what this platform is going to do, what it's going to provide, the purpose of it. We have the capacity to speak to nearly every topic under the sun. So we're going to unpack it. I promise you we're going to unpack it in a empathic way, in a graceful approach. All right. So when we talk about mental and illness, again, illness means injured, to be broken, to be sick or disease. And so many of us ran from it or don't want to deal with it because we just don't know how to talk and deal with it in many cases. All right. And because of our upbringing, you have, I narrowed it down to three types of families, right? You have a family that will totally ignore a crisis, don't want to deal with it, work through it, know it's there, know that there's conflict, know that there's issues, know that there's clashing, know that there's misunderstandings, but just won't talk about it, won't deal with it, won't unpack it, won't. Somebody listening that family, of that type of family, that type of, whether it's a small family or a large family. Just they work so much, they're educated, they're great people, but no, just not dealt with. Not dealt with, not talked to, not spoken to, not even scratched. Then you have the family that's passive aggressive. They may talk about it, they may share it, they may talk about it once or twice, may yell, may scream, may get upset and clash heads, but that's the extent of it. They're not going deep into it. And then if you are the person that was a part of either being violated, being misunderstood, mishandled, you now become the troublemaker. In that particular family setting, you won't let it go. Everybody got the problem. No one wants to deal with it. No one, we dealt with it. We talked about it. Now leave it alone. God's going to do it. You're not praying hard enough. It's real communities that goes on. I've counseled it. I've been in interventions where I've seen, right? I was in the right? And they have family a lot like to speak to it right then. Their approach is really, really, really rough, and you might be dealing with matriarchs and patriarchs that feel that they've earned the right to say what they want to say because of their age and they're the elder and they give unsolicited advice. Or you might have you get that particular family setting that's really, really straightforward. Now, believe it or not, I like that family. I do. They definitely need more grace and to respect time, respect age, and respect the other generations under them or their peers. I do like that because even though it can be reckless at times, I appreciate the fact that they're willing to talk about it. Now, I'm not saying it's a healthy environment. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm not saying because they're loud and they're forthright and they're strong with their opinions, strong with their views, strong about how they feel in many cases, and they're not backing down. However, you do know what's going to be said. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to. You may be damaged and need some more therapy after the session. They need some medication or a good shot. I don't know. But the reality is, it's out. They're not afraid to talk about it. They may not own themselves, own how they are, own their responses, because we don't like talking about cause and effect. People, when they come and bring you their story, their part, they never ever really highlight how they spoke it, how they gave it. That's on the average family, Black, white, Spanish, regardless of what race, creed, or color. This goes on and it doesn't discriminate. Doesn't discriminate whether you're Jew or Gentile, whether you're Catholic, Protestant, Pentecostal, Baptist. It doesn't discriminate whether you're educated or undereducated. Whether you have money or you don't have money. None of this level of trauma and this level of pain does not discriminate. You need to know that. So this platform speaks to that. This platform will unpack these particular topics, these particular issues and subjects with our generations, because each generation is different. Each generation have its own ethic, own code, own language. And when we talk about language, we're not just talking about verbiage. We're talking about fashion is a language. Music is a language, right? It has its own culture in that particular generation, right? And so understanding that, understanding music, understanding fashion, understanding movie, understanding food, understanding colloquial terms, right? In the 70s, 5 on the hand side, that was the verbiage, that was the language. You know what I'm saying? 80s and 90s had its own language, had its own fashion, had its own music, and all that spoke. All that spoke. It spoke to. It just spoke to. Oh God. It spoke to that particular date in time, right? And so again, what we don't understand, we have the tendency to be against. And so I'm big on allowing people to be who they are. I'm big on learning culture. I'm big on learning why things happen the way they happen. All right. So there are some keywords that I'm going to leave with you tonight when it comes to, in this podcast, when it comes to you dealing with the traumas, keywords that are key to embracing and fix their keywords that are vitally important to this platform, and that is ownership. Owning you is so vitally important for the individual person to own how they are, to own how they perceive, what went on, and it's okay, what went wrong, what you survived, because you survived it all. But owning, and what that speaks to, it speaks to holding you accountable to you, your actions, your responses, what that looks like. Because what happens with the average person, and I was one of them, and I'm still battling through this, but I have a better handle on it now. I can identify it when I'm doing it, is deflecting. Deflection is huge when it comes to mental illness, when it comes to trauma. Deflections is what the clapback, deflecting and projection. It's a real thing. It's something that is done quite frequently. When you're challenged with you, the deflection and the projection is a part of the pulling and the hiding. It's all a part of trauma. And it's a part of not having ownership, not knowing you, not knowing you're projecting, not knowing you're trying to control the narrative, or trying to control the other person. I don't care how wrong they are. I don't care how foul they are. Your objective, I believe, my objective is to maintain control of me, is to own my part. Own it. This is how healing begins. This is how your freedom begins. This is how it begins. The art of owning, the art of taking accountability to how you respond. No one can control your response. We call them triggers. Those are words. Those are some of the clinical words. That's one clinical word that's used a lot. You know, they triggered me. Okay, they may have triggered you, but they didn't pull the trigger. You, we, the individual person, we pull our own triggers. Yes, we do. We pull our own triggers. Oh, God. Yes, we do. We pull our own trigger. Nobody pulls my trigger but me. I'm responsible for my reaction. I'm responsible for how I respond. So I had to check my filters. I had to check my filters because I had to learn that there are times, depending on who I'm talking to, that there are times listening to them. My air filter is listening to them in defense of what took place. It's been convoluted. So I'm hearing what they're saying through my pain or through the opinion of somebody else. I'm hearing or I'm seeing them through a dirty lens. So they didn't stand a chance anyway. So I can't fully hear. I can't fully see it from their perspective because my filters are clogged. My filters are dirty. My filters are not clear. This gives you the ability to hear clear and to see when you are. Could it be that you're convoluted? Could it be that your thinking toward them is polluted? And it may not be a good time to talk about it. It may not be a good time to unpack it because you're biased about it. I get it, and it's okay. But at least you are able to recognize that you're biased. At least I'm able to recognize that I'm biased about this, that I'm not, it's not a good headspace for me now to talk about this. Not a good headspace for me right now to unpack this. It's not a good, I know I need to unpack it. That's good. You're identifying it. Anytime something comes up in you because what you've been triggered by, what was said to you, or someone's nonverbal cues, because we can get worked up without words. We can get worked up with somebody ignoring you in your presence, but they're dismissive. But just dismissive. This is a real issue that in our family dynamic, our work dynamic, our spiritual communities. Yes. I'm gonna speak in a minute. But when we talk about unpacking it, this is not about them. This has nothing to do with your wife if you're married, your boo or your bae if you have one. Same sex or heterosexual marriages. It doesn't matter, or relationship. It does not discriminate. Single does not discriminate. This is a real issue. This goes on all the time. These issues does not discriminate. So we could blame it on him, blame it on her, blame it on the You can blame it on whatever you want to blame on, but the reality is you're responsible for your own response. Not your wife, not your husband, not your black man, not the man, not the Republican, not the Democrat, not the independent. You are responsible for your own reaction. You are. I am. It wasn't the devil. God. Whatever had stirred up in you, whatever is that's in you, right? If you have the bubble down, I'm not feeling it. You do. Yeah, if you something's in your eye, that's your eye, right? And so, as men, as women, many of us, all of us, have a great environment. All time. I was 60s baby, so I got popped and I dealt it. That's right. Okay, I'm back. My apologies. I had some issues with the Wi-Fi, but I'm back, and so we're not giving any credit to anything. It happened. Okay, so we were talking about and picking back up where we left off, dealing with um, uh, you know how we deal with and how we manage, and at times we don't know to or the need to own. Part of your healing is going to come when you can recognize you, when you take full responsibility to your actions. Again, no one can make you or stop you or cause you to pull a trigger, cause you to squeeze that, put 7 pounds of pressure to that, or flip the switch. I do understand that there are some extreme things and some extreme moments and some extreme challenges, and you may be related to or in relationship or work around or even worship around people that are difficult. But this is about you controlling you. We can't make this about them. This platform, as we unpack, is not going to help you and give you ammunition for other people. This is about you taking ownership with you as a man, as a woman, as a person, as a human being. You maintaining, why did I get that mad? Why did it bother me like this? Why is this affecting me? Those, when you can answer the why, when you can recognize the why, that gives you the ability to run to that, to sit in that, and then what? Guess what? What's the name of this podcast? Unpack it. There's a lot of things that we all need to unpack within ourselves, right? Have you ever came from vacation and you had suitcases that you knew you needed unpacked? You knew you needed to deal with. You knew that you had to, be it clothes that you wore or did not wear, clothes that were dirty, putting things back, putting things, washing them. It's a lot unpacking at times. Have you ever moved and you had to unpack or pack up just to unpack? It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work finding things, remembering where things are. But that's the power, and that's the great, the great opportunity that we all have when we have the availability and the ability to go further in a particular matter, because this is going to give you the ability, the art of listening. Many of the issues, if not most of the wars that we're facing internally, I'm not talking about war, Russia versus Ukraine and the Palestinians versus Israel. I'm not talking about the physical war with bullets and guns and rifles and missiles. I'm talking about the war going on within yourself that leaks out to others. The fact that you imploded today, had an implosion, which is real. And many times when we have a series of implosions, you're eventually going to explode. But the implosion started first. And many times we implode because of things that we have seated in us that we won't unpack. We won't unpack, right? When you're able to unpack it, you're able to undetonate it, to cut the fuse off. It's powerful. You're able to see where and how this can impact so many different things. This can affect. If I explode, it'll affect my money, affect my job, it'll affect my relationships. All because of an implosion or things that we did not know how to unpack. And to look at it from a panoramic perspective, or to look at it as a whole. To take the grace to deal with you. I sense that there's somebody in the room, somebody in this podcast is hearing and seeing themselves for the first time. I'm talking to men in particular. I'm talking to grown-ups in particular. Because again, I asked the question, what do you do when your dysfunctions are just as old as you? When the word talks about, Paul writes to the church of Corinth in the 10th chapter, he tells us that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. That word stronghold, those two words encompassed together, are powerful words that make up one. Because what a stronghold is, in the Greek, you ready for this? Are you really ready for this? What a stronghold really is. It is a mindset. A mindset. A mind that is in concrete. A mind that is cemented. A mindset meaning your way of thinking, my way of thinking, our view toward that, our perspective toward that. He calls a mindset a strong hold. It's holding strong on something. It's not changing. So if your mind is not renewed about certain things, it has been labeled as, and it is, a stronghold. And if we don't renew our mind about certain things, about ourselves and about other people, if we don't renew or look at it from this perspective, I just believe that this is a healthy way of seeing you. Mindsets deal with traditions, deals with this is how we always did it. This is how we deal with it. We deal with it by not dealing with it. Shut up about it. Mindset. Recklessness, selfishness, mindsets, stronghold, mindset. Already said, already got my opinion, already judged you, executed you, tried you, and executed you. It's a mindset. It's a mind that has been set in this way of thinking for a long time without any accountability. And it's been handed down. Handed down. Mama did it this way, daddy did it this way, grandmama talked this way, reckless, out of control. Daddy talked this way, reckless, out of control. Handed down, trained, taught, had years of grooming to be that way. It's powerful. We have a lot of good work to do. Somebody type that for me. We have a lot of good work to do. A lot of good work to do. So I'm excited about, I didn't really scratch the surface on a lot of things, but there's so much more to learn. Ownership is one of my favorite words. The other favorite word that I have is uncomfortability. Uncomfortability is a gift. It's a gift to you, the individual person. Let me unpack what I mean. If you are saying something to me, or I'm in a relationship, you're in a relationship, and your partner says something to you that causes, or your brother or your sister or your friend or your coworker or spiritual kingdom, brother or sister, say something to you about you that tee you off, that pisses you off to the highest of festivities. Did I say piss? I said it. It's my podcast, so I can say it. That really got your boogers burned. You are fried. You are upset. That's a good thing. I believe it is. Because now you are dealing with the cause and effect of what you're feeling. I'll never forget the first time I discovered that someone was saying something to me that was getting me hot and infuriated. And I had to realize that I'm no longer concerned about who said it and what they're saying. I now am more concerned about why did that make me so mad? Why did that take me out of character? Why did I think about retaliating? What does this do to me? What does this topic, this person, this place or thing, why am I so rattled? Those are the things that I learned to run to. Have I perfected it? I'm still uploading. I'm about 75% there. I'm about 75% there where I can say, because I'm able to identify, why did I get mad there like that? Why did that take me? Why is this teeing me off? Does justice in me wants justice for them? Am I living? Do they have free space in my head that I'm not getting rent for, not getting money for? Why did that rattle me? Why did that change me? Why did that provoke me? And also, you also want to be able to identify, why do I like that? Why do I like chocolate cake? Why do I like chocolate ice cream? Why does this make me happy? Why does this movie make me happy? So you want to be able to identify you. When you become a certain age, and each year, each hallmark in your life. I strongly believe the power in dating, the power in you dating you, you dating you. Could it be you're outdated with you? You don't know you? And when we talk about the word dating, it's really the word where we get data from. Data. Data is you dating you because you're not the same you that you were last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You've evolved, or should have. You've changed. Your weight has changed. Your age has changed. Your finances has changed. Your relationship status has changed. Life thing is full of swift transitions at times, but it's real. It's okay. It really, really is. I'm going to perfect bringing people on, having multiple angles and cameras. I'm going to perfect um, uh, uh, answering questions and taking questions, taking live callers, and bringing other guests um, onto my platform, this platform. So give me some time to learn and I thought I just had to come on and do the basics, but give us some time to get this done right. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank the City of Life. I want to thank start to finish. I want to thank 363. I want to thank all of our sponsors, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to come into your home, your car, wherever you may be, and I'm grateful um, for this platform, Church Talk Media, such a powerful family, and I'm grateful for everyone who's a part of Church Talk Media. I'm grateful for Robert, who helped me set this up. Yeah, I'm so grateful for Robert, who's our engineer, and also um, I'm grateful for our elder, who has been quite instrumental um, in making sure that I have my credentials right, making sure that I was set up. My Pastor Joel Lynch had turned me on to put me on to this particular um, venue, and I'm grateful for that and whatnot. He has a great platform himself. He talks faith, and I'm so blessed by him, and I'm thankful for him and who he is to me. Pastor Joel Lynch, shout out to you. I'm grateful for you, grateful for all that you do and whatnot. I'm grateful for the church family that I pastor. This particular platform gives me the opportunity to break things down even further. So I'm grateful for, again, this opportunity. So I want to give a shout out to one of the key people in Church Talk Radio. She works hard behind the scenes, and I want to give our elder a shout out. Elder Cheryl, blessings to you. Thank you for your patience and helping me line things up, Elder Cheryl Boggs, and also, again, our engineer, Robert Brown. Thank you so much. Listen, I got to go. I'm grateful. I want you to meet me back here on next Monday for Unpack Podcasts. We're going to keep going with some hot topics. I'm going to hopefully have everything situated, work hard with my engineers and some my personal crew to make sure that I'm up, running, and doing this in a masterful, excellent way. So thank you again for this time. Thank you again for giving me space. Thank you again for joining in. And I would that you would spread this message. I don't want to say the good news. The good news is exclusively the word of God. But help me spread this platform and get others involved. All right. We're going to be dealing with a lot of mental hellness to wellness. All right. Have a good night, good day, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Thank you again, and be well.